All right, today we are diving into something that's going to twist your brain a little. It's an idea that sits right on the borderline between physics and, honestly, philosophy. So let's just get right to it. Here's the big question. Can the entire universe, every star, every galaxy, every single thing that has ever happened or ever will happen, be captured in the information of just one single image? I know, it sounds completely impossible. And look, we're not talking about some magical, infinitely detailed photograph here. Let's get real. Think about a standard 1920 by 1080 pixel screen. You know, probably the one you're looking at right now. So yeah, that screen, it's made up of just over 2 million little dots, 2 million pixels. Each one can be one of 256 different shades. It is a very concrete, very limited number. So how on earth could it hold something infinite? Well, if you calculate all the possible pictures you could make with those pixels, you get this number. It's a number so ridiculously huge you can't even comprehend it. But, and this is the whole point, it's still a finite number. It has an end. And that right there, that's the paradox we're going to crack open. Okay, so to even begin to wrap our heads around this, we have to change how we think about reality itself. The secret, it turns out, is in the difference between a thing and the information about that thing. You've probably heard this one before, but it's perfect. A map of a city, it's not the city, right? It's got all the information, the streets, the landmarks, but you can't actually walk on its roads. The map represents the city. It isn't the city. This simple idea is the key to everything else. And that's the whole idea of representation, in a nutshell. It's using a limited amount of data to stand in for something way more complex. And believe me, we do this all the time without even realizing it. And this is where it gets a little wild. We never actually experience reality directly. Think about it. You don't experience a star itself. Your eyes just get a stream of data about its light, its color, its brightness. You don't hold a person in your memory, you hold a representation of them. So what if the entire universe is just like that? A thing itself that's so complex we can only ever know it through its limited, measurable data. And yeah, this is happening inside your own head, right now. Our brains are basically the ultimate decoding machines. They take these limited electrical signals coming from our eyes and our ears and somehow translate them into this rich, seamless experience we call reality. So in a way, we're already living inside a representation. Okay, so that's the philosophical side of things. But what does the hard science say? Well, it turns out the universe itself is packed with hard limits. See, reality isn't this smooth, flowing river we imagine it to be. Nope. There's a cosmic speed limit, right? The speed of light. Energy isn't infinitely divisible. It comes in these tiny, discrete packets called quanta. And a lot of physicists now think that space and time themselves are made of indivisible little units. It's almost like the universe, at its most fundamental level, is pixelated. And this all comes together in this absolutely brain-breaking idea from physics called the Bekenstein bound. It actually came from studying black holes. Scientists noticed something really weird. All the information about what falls into a black hole seems to be stored on its 2D surface, not in its 3D volume. This led to a crazy thought. What if any region of space has a maximum information capacity? You literally can't just keep stuffing infinite detail into a finite space. So what's the big takeaway here? It's this. If every little chunk of space has a finite information limit, then our entire observable universe, it also has a maximum amount of information it can hold. It's unbelievably vast, sure, but it's not infinite in its detail. It has a resolution. And this, right here, is how we solve the puzzle. We have to get really clear about two words we throw around all the time, often using them to mean the same thing: infinite and limitless. Okay, infinite, that's about size, right? A line that goes on forever and ever, no end. But limitless, that's different. That's about potential. It's about the endless, mind-boggling combinations you can get from a few finite pieces. I mean, just think about our alphabet. We've only got 26 letters. That's it, a totally finite set. And yet, from that tiny little toolkit, we can create a literally limitless number of poems, novels, scientific papers, every book ever written, and every book that could ever be written. is just a new combination of those same 26 little symbols. And there's a name for this incredible process. It's called emergence. You start with a few limited elements, like, say, musical notes. You add some simple rules, like scales and rhythm. And out of that, boom, you get the limitless complexity of all the music in the world. The universe is the same deal. A few fundamental particles, a few basic forces, and you get the whole shebang. All right, so let's tie this all together. Let's go back to that original picture, that finite frame. How are we supposed to think about this thing that can somehow contain a limitless reality? We usually think of limits as a bad thing, as something that holds us back. But what if that's totally wrong? Think about a painting. The frame doesn't trap the art. It gives it focus. It creates the composition. Without limits, there's no form. There's just chaos. And that really is the heart of it. That 1920 by 1080 pixel grid, it doesn't shrink the universe. It's the very structure needed to make the universe's limitless potential show up, to make it visible to us. So you could say that the laws of physics themselves, they are the frame. They are the simple rules that limit what's possible, and in doing so, they make everything that exists possible. And you see this pattern everywhere once you start looking for it. Music needs the limits of scales, otherwise it's just noise. Language needs the limits of grammar, or it's just gibberish. Life itself needs the strict, unbreakable rules of chemistry to even exist. Limits don't prevent possibility. They're the engine that creates it. So the universe is built on limits. It's finite in its building blocks, but limitless in what it can create. The frame doesn't just hold the picture, it makes the picture possible in the first place. Which kind of leaves us with one last question, right? Your own awareness, your perception, is also a kind of finite frame. So what story are you letting it make visible?